Have you ever felt that sinking feeling in your chest, wondering if the man you're interested in truly likes you? You find yourself checking your phone, waiting for his text, reading over past conversations, searching for hidden meanings in his words. He says he likes you, but then, he disappears. He's sweet one moment, distant the next. You can't help but ask yourself, if he really likes me, why does he act like this? Let me tell you a story. A young woman, let's call her Emily, met a man who seemed perfect. He was charming, attentive, always the first to text. They shared late-night conversations about their dreams, their childhoods, their fears. It felt deep, meaningful. Yet, whenever Emily suggested meeting up, he always had an excuse. He would disappear for days, only to come back with sweet messages as if nothing had happened. She felt confused, anxious, and started doubting herself. Was she overthinking? Was she expecting too much? Or was she missing something crucial? If you've ever been in Emily's position, you are not alone. Relationships are often shrouded in uncertainty, especially when emotions cloud our judgment. But what if I told you that there are clear, undeniable signs that reveal whether a man truly likes you? Signs that come not just from words, but from the psychology of human behavior, from the deep recesses of the unconscious mind, as studied by great thinkers like Carl Jung, the Stoic philosophers, and even the ancient sages of the East. Today, we're going to uncover 9 powerful signs that a man truly likes you. These are not the superficial, he texts you often, kind of signs. These are psychological, behavioral, and deeply subconscious patterns that will help you see the truth behind his actions. And most importantly, they will empower you to make better decisions, not just in love, but in life. Because the truth is, love should never feel like a guessing game. A man who genuinely likes you will make it clear. If he doesn't, then perhaps the real question is not, does he like me, but rather, do I like the way he treats me? Stay with me until the end, because sign number 9 will surprise you. It is the most profound yet the most overlooked sign, one that will shift your entire perspective on relationships. And before we begin, I want to hear from you. Have you ever been in a situation like Emily's? Share your experience in the comments. I read every single one of them, and your story might help someone else who is struggling with the same questions. Let's dive in. Not all signs of affection are what they seem. In fact, some of the most common behaviors we interpret as interest can be misleading. This is where so many people get trapped, believing in signals that feel real but, in truth, are nothing more than illusions. Imagine this: you meet someone who texts you every day. Good morning, good night, little check-ins throughout the day. You feel a sense of connection forming. But as the days turn into weeks, something strange happens. He never actually suggests meeting up. You wait, hoping he'll make plans, but he doesn't. And every time you bring it up, there's an excuse. Work is busy. Life is stressful. He's just not sure when he'll be free. Another scenario: he's all over your social media. He likes your posts, comments on your stories, even sends the occasional fire emoji. He keeps you in his orbit just enough that you wonder. Could he like me? But in real life? He makes no real effort to see you. Then, there's the man who says he likes you. Maybe he even tells you how special you are, how amazing you make him feel. But when it comes to action, he's nowhere to be found. Promises of, let's do something soon, never materialize. You feel like you're in a cycle of hope and disappointment. And perhaps the most confusing situation of all, the hot and cold man. One day, he's showering you with attention, calling, texting, making you feel like the center of his universe. The next, he's distant, unavailable, emotionally withdrawn. You're left wondering, did I do something wrong? Now, let's take a step back. What's really happening here? Psychologically, behaviors like these often stem from boredom, ego validation, or emotional immaturity, not real romantic interest. Some men enjoy the feeling of knowing someone is attracted to them, even if they have no intention of pursuing a relationship. Others keep their options open, offering just enough engagement to maintain a sense of control without committing to anything real. This is where many people get trapped, believing that attention equals affection. But attention is cheap. True interest is revealed in action. A man who genuinely likes you won't just exist in the digital world, in vague promises, or fleeting moments of closeness. He will show up, consistently, clearly, and without hesitation. So ask yourself, are you holding on to false hope? Are you mistaking inconsistency for mystery? Are you chasing a connection that only exists in words, not actions? If any of this resonates with you, leave a comment below. Have you ever been in a situation where someone's behavior confused you? Let's talk about it. Because understanding these misleading signs is the first step towards seeing the truth. Now that we've uncovered the misleading signs, it's time to focus on the real ones, the undeniable, psychological, and behavioral cues that reveal when a man genuinely likes you. Unlike fleeting attention or mixed signals, these signs stem from a deeper level of emotional investment. They are patterns of behavior that cannot be faked over time. If a man truly likes you, you won't have to decode his actions or feel uncertain. His feelings will be evident in the way he prioritizes you, respects you, and integrates you into his life. Let's dive into the 9 powerful signs that prove his feelings are real. Time. It is the most valuable asset we have. We can lose money and earn it back. We can lose opportunities and create new ones. But time. Once it's gone, it never returns. This is why the way a man spends his time is one of the clearest indicators of his true feelings. Think about this: when you truly care about something, whether it's a career, a passion, or a loved one, you make time for it. Not because you have to, but because you want to. A man who genuinely likes you will not leave you wondering whether he is too busy. Even in the midst of a hectic schedule, he will find a way to see you, to check in on you, to make sure you know you are important to him. Let's take a real-life example. Imagine a man who has a demanding job, long hours, constant meetings, high stress. Yet, despite this, he still makes time for the woman he cares about. Maybe he calls her between meetings, sends a message just to ask how her day is going, or even arranges to see her for a quick coffee before work. These gestures might seem small, but they are huge indicators of priority. Now, contrast this with a man who always has an excuse. He's too busy, too tired, too overwhelmed. Days go by without a call, without a text, without effort. And yet, somehow, he still finds time to go out with friends, scroll through social media, or binge-watch a TV show. The truth is, people make time for what matters to them. If a man truly likes you, you won't have to fight for his time, he will give it willingly. Carl Jung, the great psychologist, once spoke about individuation, the process of becoming whole. In relationships, this means recognizing who values us and who merely uses us as a convenience. A man who likes you will show you through consistent presence, not occasional bursts of attention. So, if you find yourself constantly waiting, constantly wondering, constantly feeling like an afterthought, ask yourself, am I truly a priority to him? Or am I just an option? If this resonates with you, leave a comment below. Have you ever been in a situation where you felt like someone only made time for you when it was convenient for them? Let's discuss it. Because recognizing where we stand in someone's life is the first step to making empowered choices in our own. Words are easy. Promises can be made in seconds. But actions? Actions require effort, consistency, and intention. And when it comes to love, only actions reveal the truth. Imagine this: a man tells you he misses you, that he wants to see you. He speaks with passion, with conviction, and you believe him. But when it comes time to make plans, he cancels. When he says he will call, he doesn't. When he assures you that he'll be there, you end up waiting alone. Now, contrast this with another kind of man, one who doesn't speak as much, but when he says he'll do something, he follows through. He tells you he'll meet you at 7, and he's there at 6:55. He doesn't make grand declarations, but his consistency speaks volumes. This is the fundamental difference between intentions and reality. Many people mean well, but intentions without action are meaningless. In psychology, Carl Jung often spoke about the alignment of the conscious and the unconscious mind, what we say versus what we truly believe and act upon. When a man genuinely likes you, his words and actions will align. He will not leave you doubting or questioning where you stand. Let's take a real-life example. Sarah met a man who constantly told her she was special. He would send long, heartfelt texts, talk about future plans, and say all the right things. But when it was time to meet, there were always excuses. The more Sarah believed his words, the more she ignored his actions. And every time he let her down, he had an explanation: he was busy, he was stressed, something unexpected came up. Then, Sarah met someone different. He wasn't as poetic with his words. But when he said he would do something, he did it. If he said he would call, the phone rang. If he promised a date, he showed up, ready and present. There was no anxiety, no guessing, no emotional roller coaster, just stability, consistency, and clarity. So ask yourself, does this man's actions match his words? Does he show up, or does he just talk? A man who truly likes you will prove it through reliability, follow-through, and effort. And if he doesn't? Then he is not serious, and you deserve someone who is. Leave a comment below. Have you ever been in a situation where someone's words didn't match their actions? Let's talk about it. Because recognizing this difference is the key to freeing yourself from false hopes and stepping into relationships that are real. The smallest details often reveal the deepest truths. A man may say he likes you, but the real question is, does he truly pay attention to you? Imagine this: you casually mention that you love vanilla lattes, without thinking much of it. A week later, he surprises you with your favorite drink, without asking. You once told him about your childhood pet, and months later, he brings it up in conversation as if it was just yesterday. You never reminded him of your birthday, yet when the day arrives, he's the first to wish you well. These are not grand gestures. They are not declarations of love written in the sky. But they speak volumes about how much space you occupy in his mind. Because the truth is, we remember what matters to us. Carl Jung spoke of the unconscious mind, how it stores what we find significant, even when we are not consciously trying to. A man who truly likes you doesn't just hear what you say, he absorbs it, he retains it, and he uses it to make you feel seen, understood, and valued. Now, contrast this with another scenario. You've told him your favorite movie 3 times, and each time he acts as if he's hearing it for the first time. You mention that you're allergic to seafood, yet when you go out to dinner, he still suggests sushi. You share your dreams and passions, but he never seems to recall them later. This isn't forgetfulness. It's a lack of emotional investment. A man who is genuinely interested in you will make an effort to remember the details, because to him, those details are important. Let's take a real-life example. Emily was dating 2 men at the same time. One of them was charming, smooth with his words, and always knew exactly what to say. But he often forgot things she had told him, even things she had repeated multiple times. The other man? He wasn't as talkative, but he remembered. The first time they went for coffee, he recalled that she liked oat milk. When she mentioned a stressful work deadline weeks ago, he followed up to ask how it went. It didn't take long for Emily to realize, attention is the purest form of affection. And a man who pays attention is a man who genuinely cares. So ask yourself, does he remember the things that matter to you? Or does he only focus on what matters to him? If this resonates with you, share your experience in the comments. Have you ever been with someone who remembered even the smallest details about you? Or someone who constantly forgot, no matter how many times you told them? Let's discuss. Because recognizing the difference between real presence and surface-level interest is the key to understanding who truly values you. Protection is not just about physical safety. True protection is emotional, it is about standing by someone's side when they are at their most vulnerable. A man who truly likes you will not only cherish your happiness but will also care deeply about your well-being. He will notice when something is off, even when you try to hide it. He will sense your sadness in the way you sigh, in the way your energy shifts. He will pay attention to your emotions, not because he has to, but because he genuinely wants to. Let me tell you a story. Sophie had always been the type to smile through her pain. One day, after a tough day at work, she sat across from her boyfriend at dinner, forcing a smile. Most people would have taken her "I'm fine" at face value. But not him. He studied her, noticed how she played with her food absent-mindedly. And instead of ignoring it, he gently asked, "You don't seem okay. Want to talk about it?" That moment wasn't grand, but it was meaningful. Because when a man truly cares, he doesn't just listen to the words you say, he listens to what you don't say. And it goes beyond just noticing your sadness. It's about how he reacts when you are hurt by others. A man who truly values you will not remain neutral when someone disrespects you. He will stand beside you, not as a knight in shining armor, but as a man who respects and defends your dignity. Now, let's contrast this with another kind of man, the one who dismisses your emotions. When you're upset, he calls you too sensitive. When someone hurts you, he tells you to just ignore it. He avoids difficult conversations, makes excuses, or worse, gaslights you into thinking your feelings don't matter. This is not love. Love is presence. Love is protection. Love is knowing that when the world feels unkind, you have someone who sees you, who cares for you, who stands beside you. Carl Jung once said that every human has an anima and animus, the feminine and masculine energies within us. A healthy relationship is built when a man's natural masculine presence offers emotional safety to the woman he loves. Not through dominance, but through understanding, through presence, through quiet but unwavering support. So ask yourself, when you are hurt, when you are struggling, does he notice? Does he stand by you? Or does he distance himself, waiting for you to get over it on your own? A man who truly cares for you will never leave you alone in your pain. He will not fix everything, but he will make sure you never feel like you have to carry it all by yourself. If this resonates with you, leave a comment below. Have you ever experienced the difference between a man who truly sees you and one who simply coexists with you? Let's talk about it. Because understanding this sign is one of the most powerful ways to recognize real love. A man's world is not just made up of his career, his hobbies, or his personal ambitions. It is also built upon the people he surrounds himself with, his family, his closest friends, the ones who truly know him. And if he truly likes you, he will want you to be a part of that world. Let me ask you this, have you ever been with someone who keeps you in a private bubble? He spends time with you, but only in isolated settings. He never talks about introducing you to his friends, never invites you to family gatherings, and when you ask about it, he says, "I like to keep my personal life separate," or "It's just not the right time." Contrast this with a man who wants the people in his life to know about you. He speaks of you in conversations with his friends. He mentions your name casually in passing. And eventually, he invites you into his world, introducing you to the people who matter most to him. Why does this matter? Because in psychology, inclusion is a form of commitment. Carl Jung spoke of the persona, the social identity we present to the world. A man who is serious about you will not just keep you hidden in the shadows of his private life. He will integrate you into his public life, because he sees you as a long-term presence, not just a temporary experience. Let's take a real-life example. Lisa was dating a man who, for months, kept her separate from his social life. Every time she asked about meeting his friends, there was an excuse. Not yet. They're busy. We don't do introductions that fast. Meanwhile, when she checked his social media, he was constantly out with them, living a life she was never a part of. Then, she met someone else. From the very beginning, he talked about her openly. He wanted her to meet his closest friends. He invited her to a small family dinner, not because it was a big statement, but because he saw no reason to keep her separate from his life. Lisa realized something important: a man who values you will want to share his world with you. He will not keep you in a secret, unspoken space. He will make you feel like you belong. So ask yourself, are you a real part of his life? Or just a hidden piece of it? A man who is serious about you will show it, not through words, but through inclusion. If he sees you as his future, he will make sure the people in his life know it, too. If you've ever been in a situation like this, leave a comment below. Have you ever dated someone who kept you separate from his world? Or have you experienced the difference of being fully welcomed into someone's life? Let's talk about it. Because recognizing this sign can save you from wasting time on someone who never intended to keep you. There is a profound difference between a man who talks to you and a man who talks about himself. Some men will sit across from you, telling endless stories about their successes, their ambitions, their childhood, their problems. And while it may seem like they're opening up, pay attention: are they curious about you? Do they ask about your dreams, your past, your family, the things that make you who you are? Or do they simply wait for their turn to speak? A man who truly likes you will want to understand you deeply. Not just on the surface, not just your favorite color or the kind of movies you watch, but the things that shape you. He will ask questions that go beyond polite small talk. Let me give you a real-life example. Emma was dating two different men. The first was incredibly charming. He was confident, told fascinating stories, and always had something interesting to say. But she noticed something: after weeks of talking, he had never once asked about her childhood, her passions, or even her biggest dreams. Every conversation revolved around him. The second man. He wasn't as naturally charismatic, but he was different. He would ask things like, "What's something you've always wanted to do but never had the chance?" or "What was your family like growing up?" He didn't just listen to her words, he listened to who she was beneath them. And this is the key. Carl Jung once said that true connection comes from seeing and being seen, not just in the physical sense, but at the level of the soul. A man who genuinely likes you will not just want your attention, he will want to know you. Now, contrast this with a man who only engages in surface-level conversations. He keeps things light, avoids deep topics, and never asks anything that requires real thought or vulnerability. This is not a man who is invested in you. This is a man who enjoys your company but does not seek a real connection. So ask yourself, does he ask about your life? Your struggles? Your dreams? Or does he only focus on what's convenient for him? A man who sees you as someone important will make an effort to know you. Not just your presence, but your essence. If you've ever been in a situation like this, share your experience in the comments. Have you noticed the difference between someone who genuinely wants to know you and someone who just enjoys being around you? Let's talk about it. Because recognizing this sign is essential to building relationships that are real, meaningful, and lasting. Respect is the foundation of any meaningful relationship. And one of the greatest signs that a man truly likes you is not how much he wants to be with you, but how much he respects your individuality, your decisions, and your space. Love is not control. Love is not about molding someone into what we want them to be. True love is accepting a person as they are, while supporting their growth in a way that honors their freedom. Now, let's imagine two scenarios. The first man tells you who you should spend time with, what you should wear, and how you should behave. He insists that his way is the best way, dismissing your thoughts and opinions when they don't align with his. At first, this might feel like attention or even protection. But over time, you start to feel trapped, as if you are losing your own voice, your own identity. The second man. He listens. He values your perspective. He may not always agree with you, but he respects that you have the right to make your own choices. If you need space, he doesn't guilt-trip you. If you have goals that take you in a different direction, he encourages you. His love is not possessive, it is grounded in trust. Carl Jung once said that a true relationship is not about merging into one person, but about two whole individuals walking alongside each other. A man who genuinely likes you will not try to control your journey, but will instead honor the path you choose to take. Let's take a real-life example. Samantha once dated a man who would constantly question her choices. If she wanted a night out with friends, he would make her feel guilty. If she expressed a dream or a goal that didn't fit into his idea of their future, he would dismiss it as unrealistic. It took her a long time to realize, this was not love, this was control disguised as concern. Later, she met someone different. He didn't try to change her. He respected her independence, encouraged her ambitions, and supported her without making her feel like she owed him something in return. He didn't demand constant validation, because he was secure in himself and in their relationship. That's the difference. A man who truly likes you will not make you feel smaller to make himself feel bigger. He will not push you into a version of yourself that serves his needs while neglecting yours. Instead, he will give you the space to grow, to explore, and to be fully yourself, because he values who you truly are, not just what you can offer him. So ask yourself, does he respect your choices? Your space? Your dreams? Or does he subtly make you feel guilty for wanting a life outside of him? A healthy love is built on mutual respect, not silent sacrifices. If this message resonates with you, leave a comment below. Have you ever been in a situation where you felt controlled instead of respected? Or have you experienced the freedom of being loved for who you truly are? Let's talk about it. Because recognizing this difference is what allows you to step into relationships that uplift you, rather than limit you. Love, at its core, is not about words, it is about actions. And one of the simplest yet most profound ways a man shows his feelings is through his willingness to help you, even in the smallest ways, without expecting anything in return. Think about it, we all live busy lives, full of obligations and distractions. Yet, when someone truly matters to us, we naturally want to make their life easier. Not because we have to, but because we want to. Now, let's contrast two different men. The first man listens when you mention a problem, but does nothing. If you say your phone is acting up, he sympathizes but doesn't offer to fix it. If you're struggling to carry heavy groceries, he watches but doesn't lend a hand. He may enjoy your company, but his actions show that he is not truly invested in your well-being. The second man. He notices when you need help, often before you even ask. If you mention that your car has been making a strange noise, he offers to take a look. If it's late at night, he insists on walking you home to make sure you're safe. If you're feeling overwhelmed, he does something small, maybe he brings you coffee, sends you an encouraging message, or simply listens without judgment. This is what makes the difference. Carl Jung often spoke about the subconscious drive behind human behavior, how we naturally put effort into the things and people we care about. A man who likes you will not just enjoy talking to you, but will want to contribute to your happiness, to your comfort, to your life in any way he can. Let's look at a real-life example. Rachel had two men in her life. One of them was charismatic, full of compliments and sweet words, but he was absent when she truly needed support. The other? He didn't always say the perfect things, but he showed up. When she had a bad day, he was there to listen. When she had a long trip, he made sure she got home safely. He never asked for anything in return, his help was genuine, without expectation, without conditions. And that's what true care looks like. A man who truly likes you will see your struggles, even the small ones, and will step in to help, not for recognition, not as a strategy, but because he genuinely wants to make your life better in any way he can. So ask yourself, when you need help, does he step forward or does he step away? Does he make your life easier, or does he leave you to handle everything on your own? Because love, in the end, is not about big declarations, it is about small, consistent acts of care. If you've ever experienced this difference, share your thoughts in the comments. Have you ever noticed how some men talk about caring while others prove it through their actions? Let's discuss. Because understanding this sign can save you from wasting time on words that mean nothing and guide you toward people who truly show up for you. A man's true intentions are not revealed in the moment, but in the way he speaks about the future. Think about it. People naturally plan for the things and the people they see as permanent in their lives. When something or someone truly matters, we include them in our vision of tomorrow. And when a man truly likes you, he won't just live in the present with you, he will imagine a future with you. Now, let's look at two different types of men. The first man enjoys spending time with you, but his conversations are always about now. He avoids making plans too far ahead. He dodges conversations about commitment, saying things like, let's just enjoy what we have. He keeps everything temporary, as if he's leaving room for an exit. The second man. He naturally weaves you into his future. He talks about traveling together, attending events months from now, or making long-term plans that involve you. He doesn't just say, I like you. He says, I can't wait for us to do this together. This distinction is crucial. Carl Jung once said that a man's unconscious actions will always reveal his truth. Even if he's unsure about his exact future, his desire to have you in it is a sign of deep emotional investment. A man who sees you as temporary will not talk about shared goals, shared experiences, or shared responsibilities. But a man who values you will instinctively include you in what's ahead, because in his mind, you belong there. Let's look at a real-life example. Sophie was dating a man who was exciting, spontaneous, and fun. But every time she brought up the future, even something as small as a concert a few months away, he would hesitate. Let's see how things go. I don't like to plan too far ahead. His actions made her feel like she was just an option, not a part of something meaningful. Then, she met someone different. He wasn't over-the-top romantic, but he made plans that included her without hesitation. He said things like, next year, we should visit that place you love. When I move to a bigger apartment, you'll love the space. He didn't just see her in his present, he saw her in his future. And that made all the difference. A man who truly likes you will not make you feel like you're just passing through his life. He will make space for you in what's ahead. His words, his actions, and his mindset will align with the idea that you are not temporary, you are someone worth building with. So ask yourself, when he talks about the future, does he include you? Or does he keep things uncertain, as if he's unsure you'll be there? Because love is not just about emotions, it's about intention, investment, and vision. If this resonates with you, share your thoughts in the comments. Have you ever noticed the difference between a man who includes you in his plans and one who avoids the topic? Let's talk about it. Because recognizing this sign can help you see clearly who is truly investing in you, and who is simply enjoying the moment with no intention of staying. If a man truly likes you, what should you do? Should you chase him? Should you test him? Should you change yourself to keep him interested? No. The answer is much simpler, and much more powerful. You should remain rooted in your own worth. The foundation of a strong, fulfilling relationship is not desperation, not manipulation, but self-respect and authenticity. The moment you start bending yourself just to fit into someone else's life, you begin to lose what made you attractive in the first place, your independence, your essence, your inner light. 1. Don't rush, let him pursue you. Attraction is not about forcing a connection, but about allowing it to unfold naturally. If a man truly likes you, you do not need to convince him, chase him, or overanalyze his every move. He will show his interest through consistent effort, not through words alone. Think of it this way, if you plant a seed and constantly dig it up to check if it's growing, you will kill it. But if you water it, give it space, and trust the process, it will grow into something strong. A woman who knows her worth does not desperately seek validation. She allows herself to be pursued, without rushing, without doubting her own value. 2. Be the best version of yourself, not just for him, but for you. A relationship should enhance your life, not consume it. The moment you start centering your entire existence around a man, waiting for his calls, analyzing his every word, making your happiness dependent on his actions, you become dependent rather than empowered. Instead of focusing on how to keep him interested, focus on yourself. Your passions, your growth, your goals. A truly confident, self-assured woman is not afraid of losing a man, because she knows she is enough, with or without him. Carl Jung spoke of individuation, the process of becoming a whole, independent self. In love, this means not losing yourself in another person, but continuing to grow, to evolve, to become the most complete version of yourself. 3. No games, no manipulation, but don't let yourself be taken for granted. Some people believe that playing hard to get will keep a man interested. Others think that constantly giving, constantly proving their worth, will make a man stay. But true connection is not built on mind games or sacrifice, it is built on mutual effort and respect. If a man treats you well, reciprocate. If he is inconsistent, distant, or disrespectful, walk away. You do not have to fight for attention or prove your worth to someone who cannot see it. Healthy relationships are a balance of giving and receiving, not one person overextending while the other does the bare minimum. 4. Maintain your own life, passions, and friendships. There is nothing more attractive than a woman who has a life outside of a relationship. Someone who has dreams, passions, hobbies, and deep connections outside of romance. Love is not a mystery to be solved, nor a puzzle to decode. When a man truly likes you, you will know. When he doesn't, you will be confused. Throughout this video, we have explored the 9 undeniable signs that a man genuinely cares for you. But beyond recognizing these signs, there is something even more important: understanding your own worth. Too often, we get caught in a cycle of questioning. Does he like me? Why is he acting distant? What if I do more, give more, try harder? But let me ask you this: what if the real question is not about him, but about you? What if, instead of waiting for someone to choose you, you chose yourself? Carl Jung once said that the most important journey in life is the journey back to oneself. You are not here to chase love. You are here to embody love. To attract it by being whole, by being self-assured, by knowing that you deserve more than mixed signals and half-hearted efforts. A man who truly likes you will prioritize you. Show up with consistency. Include you in his future. Respect your individuality and your space. Invest in your happiness. And if he doesn't? If he keeps you guessing? If you constantly feel like you're proving your worth? Then you already have your answer. Because the truth is, you do not have to fight for what is meant for you. The right person will never leave you wondering where you stand. You deserve a love that is certain, not one that is questioned. So, if you take anything away from this video, let it be this. Do not settle for potential, value what is real. Do not make excuses for inconsistency, trust the patterns. Do not shrink yourself to fit into someone's life, stand in your own light. You are worthy of a love that is given freely, not one you have to beg for. You are worthy of someone who sees you, not just when it's convenient, but always. Now, I want to hear from you. Have you ever been in a situation where you had to question someone's feelings for you? Or have you experienced the power of being with someone who left no doubts? Share your thoughts in the comments below, because your story might help someone who needs to hear it. If this video brought you value, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Let's continue building a community of people who choose themselves first, who walk into relationships with clarity, confidence, and the courage to demand what they truly deserve. Because the best love story you will ever have is the one you write for yourself first.